Hi, it's Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and in this video I'll be looking at the RX10 portable CarPlay and Android Auto display from Coral Vision. This is a portable 10-inch IPS display for vehicles that do not come with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto systems. It simply mounts onto the dashboard and it supports wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, casting or mirroring from a mobile device, and there is a TF card slot for local playback or video and music files on the display. You can choose to cast the audio out from either the 3-watt internal speaker, use FM transmission, wired aux connection, and also Bluetooth audio if your car stereo supports it. In the box you get a paper instruction manual. There is the display itself, aux audio cable, a USB-C to 12-volt socket power cable, an adhesive pad, and a horizontal dashboard mount. Looking over the display then, it has a 10.26 inch IPS display running a resolution of 1600 by 600. On top, there is a physical button to toggle the display on and off, and on the back there are slots for the dashboard mounting bracket or an optional windscreen mount. On the rear left hand side we've got a collection of I/O ports which features a 3.5 jack for aux audio output, a TF card slot for media playback, a 3.5 jack for AV input for an optional rear view camera, and finally a USB-C port to power the display from its supplied 12-volt socket cable. Alright, so that's a brief overview of the RX10 display. Let's now jump in the Golf and see how well this display performs. Right, so we're in the car. We've got our Coral Vision here on the dashboard of the Golf, and we've got our super long, over 3 meter long lead here with a 12-volt socket on one end and a USB-C input on the other. So that's going to go into the display here at the back, and it's going to go in my 12-volt adapter down at the bottom here. So let's get everything first connected. I'm going to plug in the right angle on the back there. I've also installed a TF card slot at the moment, so I'm plugging this in, and the boot up time is pretty reasonable. So we're into the main menu here. We've got 5 options across the top, 4 options down the left hand side. We've got a home screen, adjust the brightness, which you can drag backwards and forwards to adjust the display. This third option here, you've got all your connection to your audio output. So you've got either the speaker, you've got Bluetooth, FM transmission, and aux output to a car stereo. So it really depends on what car stereo setup you have. If you've got Bluetooth on your car stereo, you don't have CarPlay, then this is the best audio solution to get from this display to your car stereo. Second is probably the auxiliary. If you've got an aux input port, 3.5 jack somewhere in the car, that goes to your car stereo, and your car stereo has an aux selection mode. That's probably the second best audio quality setting. Third is the FM transmission. So again, it runs wireless, just like Bluetooth. And finally, you've got speaker, which is only a 3-watt speaker. So it's not really good quality there. And I'll show you all 4 options just so you can hear the quality of them all. And lastly, you've got a back button, which basically takes you back to the main menu. So you've got phone link, which is going to be your main toggle for CarPlay, Android Auto, mirroring from AirPlay or Android streaming, and also you've got Bluetooth music. If you just literally connect to the display over Bluetooth, and you can play your Bluetooth music as well without having to go through a platform like CarPlay or Android Auto. Next is Bluetooth, which is basically the whole process of how you connect to this display. So you've got the Bluetooth name, turning Bluetooth on and off, whether anything's being paired, unpair the device if you actually have something connected, so you can actually have multiple devices connecting to it, and whether it's going to auto connect when you first boot up the device. Media player is the TF card, and we'll come back to that in a minute, but basically it's all the files that are on the TF card, whether it's video or music, and whether you want to play them. And audio output, we've already been there, that's from the left hand side section. And then finally you've got settings where you can got screensaver, you can turn the display off after you're moving, which you probably won't want to do if you've got CarPlay running. Voice control, you can basically issue a command to turn the display on or off. So you can just do a command saying turn off display.
Okay.
Turn on display.
Okay.
So that's all you got with the voice control. Driving position for left and right operation if you're left hand drive or right hand drive in the car. Changing your language between all of these languages. And then you've got factory reset and what the current firmware version is. There are some softwares that you can get from them if there's any major updates, such as one I've applied recently, which does give you the Bluetooth audio output. So if you get this display and you don't get the Bluetooth audio, reach out to them and they'll give you the files necessary to update that. So we're going to go with CarPlay first. We are going to connect our phone. It's wireless CarPlay. There's no wired option. So we need to go into our Bluetooth settings. Listen out for the Bluetooth profile, which is this one here. So we're going to connect, pair, allow, wait for the CarPlay prompt to appear. And we're in. Didn't even need a prompt. So we're into CarPlay here. You can see that the menu on the left persistently stays there, so you can go back to the main menu without having any floating buttons. I think that's a very good thing to have. All the GPS is going to come through the phone. Obviously it can't get passed through from your car if your car has it, because it's only connected to your 12-volt adapter in the center console, so you're not going to get any GPS pass through here. So it's all going to come through the phone. Again, there's no cable output for charging your phone, so you will have to rely on a secondary device to make sure that your phone's charging if you're using it for a long period of time. But navigation and responsiveness of the display is good. I'll just go back here and just show you that you've got a full suite of 10 apps on this resolution, which is really handy. It means less scrolling. The screen looks really nice because it's an IPS display. It's got a good wide range of view. And let's just try Spotify. You won't be able to use your wheel controls if you have any, because you're only connecting to it. We might change that with Bluetooth actually, but if you're connected to it over FM, aux, or the speaker, no Bluetooth controls from your wheel will work. But Bluetooth uses your phone to connect to the display to get audio, and with that the controls might actually work. So we'll test that in a minute. So we'll just try the audio. I'm just going to do some royalty-free audio first. So it's going to use... So this is using my phone because we've not connected anything. So that just already shows you that you'll be able to use Bluetooth. But for now, I'm going to go to speaker. Well, here we are back in the hot, muggy streets of New York. So with 3 watts, it's quite low quality. And the volume then becomes a slider, which you can control the internal volume. Back obviously takes us back. And then we can go back in here again. So that's the speaker. Let's try FM radio now. So FM radio is a little bit more different. So for the radio, FM transmission, we need to go to audio output, select FM, and then basically you need to select a radio station where you probably haven't got much traffic on it. So imagine this is your non-CarPlay stereo. We're going to go into the radio. So this is currently using DAB. So we need to go to FM. We're going to do a manual select. I hope you can see this. And we're going to go to the 106, which is the default for the stereo. So you can hear it there. The little bit of interference. So it's not brilliant. So quite a bit of interference there. So let's just try different FM. Yeah, because it's basically fighting with another station. So let's go to, there you go. So that's better. We'll go back to CarPlay now. Play that track again. So still some interference there. 105.08, so let's just try that. So that's locked in, and then we'll go back to CarPlay and then restart. Well, here we are back in the hot, muggy streets of New York. So lots of interference there, so probably not the best solution. So we're now going to go in with the aux solution. So this is the aux cable that you actually get with the display. Sadly though, this actually means you've got lots more cables running through your system. So I've got an auxiliary port in the glove box, so I'm going to connect to that. The auxiliary cable goes into the side port here at the top, so that's now using auxiliary. So we'll just get that to media source auxiliary on my stereo. So now it's on auxiliary. Right, so you've just heard the onboard speaker, you've heard the FM transmission, and you've also heard the aux input quality. All various stages of quality, I would say speaker, FM, aux in that sequence, aux being the best, and you can tell the quality difference there as well. So lastly, we've got Bluetooth audio. So we're going to try that now. So basically, we've told the input to go to CarPlay audio, and it's going to basically use our phone to connect to the Bluetooth stereo. So at the moment, wireless CarPlay uses your Bluetooth to connect to your phone, share the Wi-Fi password, and then connect to CarPlay. So once it's done that, it should technically then reconnect to that display unit on the dash, the CoralVision RX10. So we're going to do that. If I play the audio now, just to show you, it's going to come out of the speaker of my phone. So that's coming out my phone. And now I'm going to tell it to go to the head unit Bluetooth instead. So I'm going to reconnect to the display, and then I'm going to go to media, select Bluetooth audio, pair to my phone. It's asking me to pair. So CarPlay is still running at the moment, or up there. We're going to confirm. We're going to share the gubbins. So now my Bluetooth is connected to my Android system. And now we've got Bluetooth connected to my stereo coming from my CarPlay unit. So that's now playing through my Bluetooth in the car stereo via this screen is here. And let's try wheel controls. And that works. So you now have wheel controls over Bluetooth if your car stereo that doesn't have CarPlay also has Bluetooth functionality with your wheel, and then that will work with this display. So that's a good improvement over other displays using this functionality. So that's the best quality that you're going to get from this display. You're going to get the best through Bluetooth, then aux, then FM, and then speaker. So we've had a look at CarPlay. Let's just do a voice message.
Go ahead.
Hi, this is Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and this is an audio message using the CoralVision RX10. Hopefully the microphone on the RX10 and not my microphone that's on my phone here. If you're not hearing me, it's definitely not using the microphone on the... So basically that just shows you that it uses your microphone from your phone rather than on the display itself there. That's no bad thing, just as long as your phone is in the area and it can pick you up. That's the most important bit. Otherwise, if your phone is in your bag, in a back pocket, then the microphone's not going to pick you up as well. But if it's charging and you do want it probably charging, if you're using navigation with this, then it should be up near your dash anyway, and it should pick up the microphone anyway. Right, so it's swapped over for the iPhone and Android. So I've got my Android device here, and we're now going to connect to Android Auto. So we're going to switch to Android Auto mode. Right, we're going to connect to our Android phone. We're going to connect to the Bluetooth profile here. Pair. It's connecting. Now it's active. And then in a minute, you should see the pairing process. It's taken a bit longer than normal, but it's like we're about to come in here, and we're in. So that's running. We've got a nice display here. It's still HD. Nothing's too warped here with the circles. So you can see here that they're not too overstretched, and the menu is quite responsive, as is the music. So again, just like iPhone, the audio is coming from this. So I could just go and show you through all the motions again, but the audio is going to be exactly the same. But let's try and get this sorted out with Bluetooth audio, which is more important. So we're going to connect to the stereo again, and we're going to connect to our Pixel, and now we're connected to the stereo of the car. Just going to turn it up.
I don't know, but let's get out of here.
Go check our wheel controls. That all works. We're going through all the motions there via the wheel with the Android device connected to the car stereo. So that's all good. We've tested that on Android and iOS. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell, really, in terms of the functionality of CarPlay and Android Auto. You've seen the boot up speeds. Everything, it seems pretty responsive, and the layout is not too funky. Again, you can return back to the main menu here and get back to the Android Auto as well, just like you can do with CarPlay. And we've covered all the audio for both platforms as well. We've now going to try out the media player from the TF card that I've inserted in the side. You've got a video music here, and basically you just tap and there you go. It's going to come through, unfortunately, even though we're active on the Bluetooth device, media player isn't going to play any audio from it because it doesn't know what it's doing. All the audio is going to have to come through the speaker, the FM transmission, or the aux cable for media playback, and it won't actually work through Bluetooth, unfortunately. But the video plays fine. Unfortunately, it doesn't go full screen. That's the best that you can do. It won't go sort of full width, and you can't pinch and zoom, and it won't go all the way as big as you want it to get. So it's no different to a large phone, really. And the audio is going to be as good as the 3 options that you've got remaining. But it's all in sync, the video to the audio, as what you would expect. And music will play through MP3s and so on. There's no FLAC support, but there is MP3, Wave, and a few others that I've got, but FLAC doesn't work, unfortunately. So that's just a brief glimpse of the video. It is in a small sort of window format. It would have been nice if it was full screen, or you could actually make it go super full screen if you wanted to, but that option's not available, unfortunately. Now we can try video casting. So I'm going to try Android Cast, and it gives you a little brief introduction of how you go about doing that. It uses TC-Link application. So we've got the TC-Link app here, and it's found the display. It's connecting. We want to start the connection, and now we've got mirroring on the display there. Pretty nice and quick. We're going to load YouTube and play a YouTube video. We're going to do some CarPlay or Android Auto pass-through. Each finalist used a variety of CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity apps. So the frame rate's not brilliant, but that could just be the app on Android. So you can control it using this start and stop and so on, and it's fine, but for casual viewing it's okay, but I wouldn't want to watch something on this too much. It's a nice addition. I'm going to swap now to iOS and try AirPlay. Right, so we disconnected the Android, back on iPhone now, and I'm going to quickly try and do this before my battery runs out. We're going to do AirPlay, switch to AirPlay mode. So for that we need to connect to the Wi-Fi hotspot of the display, similar to how it connects for wireless CarPlay. So it says I'm connected, so I'm going to go to mirroring. You've got smart screen there now, and then once you've tapped that, you then have your iPhone mirrored, and then from there you can just use any sort of non-copyrighted app like YouTube or TikTok and things like that, and then from there you can basically watch all your YouTube videos on the display. I narrowed down my 11 finalists to just my top 5. All these AI boxes are worth a look at, yet some for you. So without further delay, here are my top 5 AI boxes. Again, slight delay on iOS 2. Let's just do a test video. It's a fraction of a second or two out, but it's all right for casual viewing, I think. And again, it won't use Bluetooth audio. It's either FM, aux, or the speaker in the display itself. So that is streaming. So it's going to switch back to CarPlay. Unfortunately, you can't turn those annoying little button sounds off either. That's one detriment of this. So you can pick up this RX10 for $199 directly from their store, and I'll give you links down below to learn more about this display and also to buy yourself one. Overall, I think it's a good display. I like the narrow height of it now because it's less intrusive once it's sitting onto the top of your dash. Their previous models was a more 16:9 kind of ratio, so it's a bit taller in its height, and it just made looking over the dash a little bit harder. Of course, you can get a window mount and mount that somewhere else, or you could try and get a vent mount and mount it on the vent of your car instead. So it's a little bit above your car stereo. That's an option that you could try. I like all three main sound options, and it's really good that they've actually now introduced with an update the Bluetooth version. I think it works well. If you've got controls for your Bluetooth stereo, they will work as well, hopefully, because it is connecting to your phone and you're not necessarily using anything related to the device itself. So as long as your Bluetooth on your phone works with your car stereo wheels, it'll work with this display too. And I think the screen looks great. IPS display, 10-inch, nice and wide, so you've got your full 10 icons there instead of majority of 8. That's on a lot of car stereos that you would pick up with CarPlay. There's that advantage there. Disadvantage is you can't charge your phone from the display itself. Another disadvantage is that you've got more cables lying around, but it is a 3-meter long cable, so you've got plenty there to do a very hopefully a discreet install. The button option that you can't turn off, the noise of navigation, that's another downside. We've seen that we can cast to the display, but again, with Media Playback and at least streaming over it, you don't get that full screen display. It would be nice if the content actually stretched to full screen. There might have been some zoom options in the player. That might have been a nice addition. But it really depends on what you're going to use this display for. If you're going to use it for Android Auto or CarPlay, then I think this is definitely sufficient for that. If you don't want to do a actual aftermarket install or a stock OEM install instead to get CarPlay, this is a really quick, easy way to get CarPlay or Android Auto in your car. And for 200 quid, it's probably, you're not going to get any better than that with some head units, but you're definitely saving a lot of money in terms of the bother it takes to do a full install in your car, so you completely avoid that as well. So if you're thinking of not wanting to do a full install and just want to get a display, then this is one of those displays that you should really check out. All right, thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. If it has, leave us a like down below and let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the RX10 portable display from Coral Vision. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, bye.